So in this professional examination, it's very difficult to pass. If we have passed the examination, we feel like, oh, we have done something great. And scoring a rank, it is definitely a momentous achievement for all of us. It's a great achievement and which should be appreciated. And we are really very, very, very proud of you, Puneet. How do you feel about this achievement?
I wasn't actually expecting any rank, to be honest. Uh, when the results started to like, there was like 5 days for the results. I was actually opening the book, because I thought I'll fail again and go for it again. But when I cleared, it was, I mean, the emotional satisfaction you get from passing the exam, it stays for a while, but then life catches on and you have to you focus on the next thing. So I mean, it was, my parents were proud and I was pretty happy when I found out I had the rank, because I mean, I didn't actually know I had the rank until my friend Chaitra, who opened the list and he was like, "Is this your name?" I was like, "Oh, it is my name." So I wasn't really expecting any rank.
Okay, so you was not expecting the rank, but after your examination, like we get some intuition. How was how your exam went, and like was you having expectation of passing?
I don't know, maybe because it's hard to judge when you have 8 papers and there's barely like 10 hours to revise the whole subject, because there's no gap in between. So all my mind could think about was to get through it at that point, and I was like, I used to get like 3 hours of sleep, and it was a really hard time at that point. And after exams, I mean, I did mess up a lot in the exams. So when I was writing SLCM, it was like there was a simple question which had a simple answer. It was just, I had to write special resolution, but I wrote ordinary resolution. And I presented that question so beautifully that when I came out and I called Sohan, I was like, dude, I wrote this like this. Like, how could you mess up that simple question? But I presented it really good, but I still lost the mark. You'll mess up. It's given. I wasn't expecting to pass, to be honest.
Okay, great. So miracles to happen. One thing I would learn from your statement is कि even if for some reason you mess up with some of your examination, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. You can still clear that examination. Right. So the second question I want to ask you, like I really have a bunch of questions for you so that you can guide all the June attempt question. The second question I want to ask from you is that when you was taking your classes, which things you took care while taking the classes? Like focusing on the concepts, attention, was you daily revising what you studied in the class? What you will guide this the coming batch students to take care during their lectures?
So make sure you attend the lectures. And I mean, for me personally, coming to class was fun because I had such beautiful friends, to be honest. I used to look forward to coming to class, because what are you going to do at home sitting there? So I had good friends, and the teachers were all really kind and really enthusiastic. So I was looking forward to classes every day. And let's be honest, is about memorizing a lot of things, because you have to memorize the provisions, you have to memorize every lines. But it's easy to memorize something you understand. So make sure you understand the thing before you try to memorize it. So first, if you have doubts, ask. It's all the usual thing. But when you're in class, try to have fun. I mean, talk to your friends, make some new friends, crack some jokes, and it's all part of the game. And and after going home, take a nap. Trust me, after going home, first thing you do, eat a big lunch and take a nap. After taking a nap, get up and start studying. Take frequent breaks while studying, because me personally, I couldn't focus for 40 minutes. Like after 40 minutes, I needed the break. So whatever it is for you, take a lot of breaks and make sure when you study, you only study and don't go through Instagram. Not good. Instagram, such a dopamine, like it will deplete your energy and you will lose your focus. So don't go through your phone. Take a walk, listen to music, talk to your friends, whatever it is you do. Take some breaks and focus on studies. Yeah.
Okay. So things which I could take point from Puneet's answer. Number one, try to understand when you take the class. Number two, take a break after going from class, take a nap, and then start your self study. Do the self study of what you understand in the class. Right? So, these are few things which you have to take care. Most important, keep your Instagram notifications off. Because once you go into Reels, there is no coming back. I think Isha can relate to this. Okay, so the second question I have, I guess, which you answered along with question number two only. One thing I want to ask you, how many hours you used to study? And 1 month before the examination, when you get the preparation leave for the examination, what was your approach that time? And how did you balance your studies with other commitments like family, friends, and close friends? So how did you manage? How did you manage the studies along with the other commitments? Did you get socially isolated, or like how did you manage that self-study period? Was you totally isolated out of the social media, and the balance that you maintain between your studies and your college or social life?
So I'm a graduate, so I don't have to go to college. I didn't have to go to college. Now I'm planning to get into LLB, so we'll think about that. But the during the last month, I went back to my native, so it was pretty isolating, to be honest. I mean, I used to only talk to my mom and dad at that point, but I used to call Sujin and Sohan, and we used to talk on the phone, but not frequently. But at that time, I was pretty isolated, and I was just focusing on studies. I used to study somewhere between 10 hours, give or take, with breaks, obviously. You take a lot of breaks in between, have lunch, watch anime, and all that. But you know, you set that time, you study, and you do talk to your friends and all that. And yeah, well, that answers your question, or did I
Okay.
miss something?
Yeah. So it's important to get isolated. When you want to take break, you can
Not important to get isolated. It's just you can still talk to people.
sense prioritize your studies over other meetings, other family commitments, and all. So for taking a break, you can talk to your friends, but make sure that it is not very frequent and it doesn't hamper your study time. Yeah. So during your self-study period, like after your classes are over for 1 month, when you do self-study, make sure that you give sufficient time to self-study, because we have only 1 month and time never comes back, right? So make sure that make sure to make most out of every day, right? So the next question is very important from the student's point of view. I have seen nowadays students are like, they want 10 numbers of material to study. I want to study from this also, this also. They go to Google, they go to YouTube, they search, they go to Telegram, and they search for 10 materials. I want to study from here also, here also, here also. So my question to you is, which material you referred? Yash's material, ICSI material, or any YouTube or Telegram notes? Is it necessary to go through multiple notes? Like which notes or which study material you referred, which was your main book from you studied?
I mean, having a lot of materials might work for other people. For example, Sohan picks up a lot of information from different materials. Every time you ask, he's watching a different lecture. He's going through some summary notes, and maybe it works for him. But for me personally, all I went through throughout 1 year of like studying module one and module two was what I got from SS. And for company law, I had ma'am's handwritten notes. But apart from that, I mean, ma'am was kind enough to give it for free to me at that point, even though it was behind a paywall. I was like, can you please? But I personally, I only went through one material because for me, that page memory of where what is, something clicks in my head and I know what provision is at which part of the page. So for me, only one material going through it again and again. That's the only thing I could study because I did experiment with going through YouTube lectures, marathons, and all that. It didn't really work. It would erase whatever I had previously studied. So for me, I just wanted one material and that's all I stuck to it.
Okay. So with Yash's material, you can score all India rank. So you really don't need to go through any of the material. So those students who are confused, we need tens of material, we need 5 books, 10 books to study this material, that material. The material which is provided from Yashas, that is more than sufficient for you all to clear your examination, that too with all India rank. Are you understanding? Yes.
I have something.
Yeah.
I mean, the materials does cover everything in this. But the thing about CA's exam is you don't know what to expect. So, for example, in my attempt, the hardest subject was jurisprudence. I mean, most of the questions you couldn't even understand which lesson it was from. I mean, usually we ignore like General Clauses Act and all that because it's like, but they out of nowhere, all of a sudden, two questions from General Clauses Act, two questions from sources of law, which was not in the material because in the material there are definitions and other things that are important, but they did pick out of something that was just a general paragraph in the module maybe, but I couldn't understand, so I didn't attempt that question. But yeah, you can never be sure where it's going to come from, and make sure you go through the amendments that they release. The ICSA does release amendments for every attempt. Make sure you go through those amendments because they will ask from amendments. Yeah.
Okay. So simultaneously, you can go through ICSI material. If any point is skipped, you can add it in your material, main material, Yash's material only. And apart from that, you don't need to go through tens of YouTube channels or tens of Telegram channel to search for notes. What you have, that is more than enough. And like what Punit mentioned, few questions are asked out of syllabus. Few questions are there. So you can expect one or two questions out of the box. You should be prepared for that so that you don't get panic attacks in the examination. Right. So my another question for you is like when you was doing the self-study, how many subjects you used to study in a day? Like one subject for the whole day or two, three subjects, two subjects, three subjects in a day?
And I could never stick to one subject, so I would just cycle it out because theory and practical, you cycle it out because I can't. And it's just too mundane to just sit and study the same theory and provisions again and again. So I used to cycle it out.
Got it. So if you are bored with one subject, what you can do, you can take one theory subject and one practical subject. That would help you during your self-study so that you don't get bored of it. So one question which I personally find very important for the student is when you used to sit for the self-study, like do you used to make target for the day, to-do list for the day? Like today I have to cover this chapter, this chapter. Like was your schedule for every month, every week made? By this time I should be done with first self study, by this time I should be done with second self study. Like what was your approach regarding the planning part and the to do list?
My plan was very vague. I don't even remember. I mean, we spend too much time planning that we actually don't get into the material. So don't worry too much about planning. I mean, have a vague plan, like, within this week, I need to get done with this many lessons. But yeah, I used to fail a lot when I had the plan, like, today I wish I could complete this much lessons, but obviously I would call Sujan. I was like, dude, I didn't complete this many lessons. And it used to happen and it will happen. There's no other way. But the thing is, don't worry too much about planning. Just get into the material and start studying and have a vague plan. It's fine to have a vague plan. You don't have to structure every day, every week, every month because life is, complicated. It will not go the way you want it. Will something will come up and you want to go watch a movie, which you can. I mean, go watch a movie once in a while and
So you used to watch a movie 1 month before the examination?
oh yeah, I did watch Kantara like 1 month before. I went for the night show like 10 o'clock.
This part.
That's just dishonest. I mean, take a break, relax, don't take your life too seriously.
I agree with you to an extent here. I can say that it's good to have a break. And as Puneet said, he used to make a vague plan like by this week I have to complete, I should be done with this many chapter. That's good. So even if you have made a plan, that might work for you. And one thing, planning you should do not too much intricate. Don't spend 1 hour doing planning, but you can make a vague plan for you. Okay, that by next month I should be done with this subject. By next week I should be done with this particular chapters, and by let's say April end, or let's say by 15th April, 15th May I should be done with second revision, first revision. You can have that approximate deadlines set for you, that what is the deadline for you for first study, for first self study, second revision, third revision, right? So you can make that plan. Secondly, plans you will not be able to achieve every time you like you make a plan every time you will not be able to achieve that. And that's because we are human beings, we are not God. So it's very obvious that we would not be able to achieve our plan. Let's say you make target for 5 chapters. It may be possible that you are not able to achieve all the 5 chapters, you are not able to complete all the 5 chapters. But if you make a plan, at least you would be able to complete 2, 3 chapters without even starting to revise, without even starting to do self study. You might be stuck in 0 or 1, right? So starting is important. Start, and then gradually you can make plans for you that okay, this is my deadlines. Okay, starting is important. Start, right? Next, the next question for you is what was your plan with respect to answer writing? What you did for improving your presentation of answers? Like you said, you mentioned earlier that your presentation of one of the answer was really well. So what you did for improving your presentation of answers? What you did for answer writing? Did you refer scanners? Did you took test series or attempted any test? What was your uh, approach towards answer writing? Mm,
I mean, you all know the basic layout. You start with, if you know the section, you write the section, relevant provisions, and then if it's a case law, relevant provisions, and then facts, and then conclusion. I mean, that's all. You don't have to worry too much about that. Me personally, I didn't take any test series, or I did go through guideline answers previous years, all that is available on the ICSI official website. So I did go through it. I mean, what you get there is pretty much what you get in the module, so they just copy paste that, so you don't really find anything different or anything. But during classes, a lot of teachers did show us how to present our answers. I just followed that. Uh, Apart from that, your handwriting, you don't have to worry too much about it. As it just has to be like comprehensible. Like if you can read and understand, that's all, and make sure you don't have like a lot of scratches or anything, and don't worry too much about you know, how you present it or anything. Just make sure it is understandable and your provisions and points come across very nice. And you just write the points that are asked. Don't overwrite it or write anything extra or related. No, they don't give you marks for anything apart from what they have asked. So if they've asked you a particular provision, you just write that provision and nothing else. So
got it. So what you have to take care for answer writing? Follow the format, facts of the case for case laws, applicable provision, facts of the case, and conclusion. You can go through the guidelines answer for seeing how what type of questions are asked. Okay, so guidelines answer, if like you are smart enough to understand the questions, that's very nice. For your self understanding, you can go through the guidelines answer and the scanner answers. Like someone mentioned, the scanner helped him a lot. So it can be a bit different from person to person, but it's really good that even without getting a test series, you are able to score so well. So what he mentioned, what you have to take care, don't make scratches in your answer sheets. Even if your handwriting is not very good, it's fine, but it should be readable, right? So these things you have to mention. You have to take care when you are doing answer writing. And giving test gives you confidence. So you can give test to achieve that confidence. And once you get confidence, then you do better, right? So the next question for you is, uh, especially for the company law paper, like other subjects are a bit direct apart from the text. Like if I see the JIJL and the SBC, they're a bit direct questions. A bit direct questions are asked. EBCL. Now we're talking about the company law and SLCM, mainly company law. Most of the questions are case law questions. Like they ask in the form of case laws. They don't ask direct question like BCom or class 12th. Case law question are asked. So what was your approach to study in such, uh, you can say, the complicated paper or the paper in which only case laws are asked? What was your approach for such subjects?
at this point, I suppose you have to come to understanding the concept instead of memorizing it. So, I mean, when it comes to writing company law or SLCM, when it comes to writing all papers, you have to keep in mind that it is a really lengthy paper and you will have problems finishing the whole paper in 3 hours. So time constraint is a really big thing. And you'll it'll take a lot of time for you to finish reading the question in company law, because one question pretty much is 6 to 7 lines, and you have to go through it again and again, so you have to understand it. But it's just most of it is just provisions. So whatever the question is, if you know the provisions, you will answer it, and it is pretty easy. I mean, not easy. You know, you you just have to remember the provisions. So I mean, at this point, going through guideline questions and answers maybe will give you an idea of how you can read, questions and, make sense of what the question means and what the question is asking. Because most of the time, the first three lines isn't even necessary in a question. It's just the last three lines, and then you'll come to know what part you have to read and what part highlights you. So just, probably practice reading the questions from previous papers. So that might help.
So what helped you with the
Revision of the
revision of all the subjects?
just going through it over and over again. I mean, it's just sometimes you remember the provision, you probably remember one or two points, and the rest is all blank. So just write one or two points because you will get 1 or 2 marks. Because in a 3 mark question, if you have a proper 3 points that is actually in the law, then you will get the 3 marks. You don't have to like overwrite it or be a bit articulate about whatever it is in your head or how much you understand. If there is a provision that is direct or indirect when you're writing a case law, if you know the provision, just word it properly and be careful of the words that are is and there are provisions that separate and if and yeah, be careful. Yeah, or so be careful of the words like that because you think you know the provisions of like a small company definition, but do you know whether it's a and or a or?
Answer that.
Those are all important. So pay attention to words like that because if you write and instead of or, that is a wrong provision. So you will lose mark. So something like that.
Yes, Parvati. Is it and or? And good. Correct. So now what I understood from your answer is an exam company law paper is very lengthy, and you get only 3 hours for that. So don't overwrite your answers in your examination. Try to write what is the exact demand of the question. If question is asking who is Ram, write only who's Ram. Don't write who's Sita. Okay. So one important question. Many students now today they are demotivated. Ma'am, I'm not confident enough that I can pass. So throughout your self-study tenure, like, was you motivated all the time, or there was time when there was days when you didn't study, there was days when you got demotivated, or throughout your tenure you was motivated? Self-doubt always arises. Self-doubt.
I mean, it was every day. I mean, who can be motivated all the time? I mean, that's motivation is a lie. So that's where discipline comes into part. Regardless of how you feel, you just get it done. Whatever it is that you planned for the day, wake up, vaguely write out which lessons you want to complete today, and regardless of how you feel, you will feel demotivated. It's a long journey. It's a long, tough paper. It's a lot of subjects, a lot of content to cover. And even if you cover it, you have a self-doubt of whether you remember what you read. But there's like 100 things that goes into your mind. All you have to do is, regardless of how you feel, most of the times you will feel bad. That's just a given. You just go sit down and just start reading line by line, just one line after the other, just one provision after the other. Don't overthink anything. Just give yourself. If you're feeling really bad, I'll just finish one provision now, and I'll take 5 minutes break. Just finish that one provision, take 5 minutes break, and then go for it again. So yeah, just don't rely on your feelings. Feelings are bad.
So see, no one gets 100%, comfort for achieving something in life. Everyone has to face some or other problem, some or other demotivation, or something might happen which might make you feel bad. So what you have to do, you don't have to stop. Just keep on going. Just like what Puneet said, start with one provision. Okay, I'll just study this. Even if you're feeling bad, excuses will be always excuses. You will never run out of excuses. There are thousands of excuses. It's you. If you are determined to clear your examination, even no matter what is the situation, you have some problem going on in your personal life, in your family life, just keep your study life separate from your personal life and do what is the need of the time. Okay. So one question, this you all might need, especially those students who have come here who couldn't clear in the previous examination. So as I know, you have given earlier attempt in which you couldn't clear. So failure can't stop you. One very good example, one very good example that he failed in one attempt, and after you fail in one attempt, a normal person give up, self doubt, like can I even pass an examination? And you have a live example here that after failing in one attempt, in next attempt, not even pass with all India rank 7, that was single digit rank. So what, like, first of all, how you got this courage to, start preparing again after failing? Usually now students get very demotivated after failing. So what made you stand up again, and what mistakes you found out in your first attempt, which things you corrected in your preparation? So how you shifted from, fail to direct all India rank? Like what, how come that turn came in your life?
It's a funny story. It's not actually my second attempt either. It's probably like fourth or something because I didn't tell them it was my third or fourth attempt because I, pride in. But my first attempt was back in 2019. Yeah, 2019. I was still graduating. I mean, I was still in BCom, and I studied for a year. First module, I took classes not here, but I didn't get the proper resources, and there were other few things. But I scored like 160 for 400, and I failed my module one. And 2020, COVID hit, but I think I paid for the exam and I didn't attempt it. And then 2021, I paid for the exam. I went. I don't know how much I studied at that point. I vaguely remember. But I went to the exam hall. I wrote company law. I was pretty sure I was going to fail. No, first was GAJ, right? Yeah, I was pretty sure I was going to fail. Then I came back the next day. I wrote company law. I walked out halfway. And then for the next two attempts, I left my house because I wanted my parents to think I was writing the exam. By then I went to a movie because I couldn't. So I failed that too. So then after graduating, I decided to take this seriously and I took classes and I wasn't planning on writing both the modules at the same time. My first idea was to write one module in June and write the other one in December. But when I was prepared, I mean, I did prepare pretty good, I think, I don't know, for the first module, but like just 2 days before the exam, I felt very sick. So I couldn't write the exam for module one, which was very disappointing for me. So then I had to, pick myself back up and read module one again along with module two. And then I decided to give both the modules for December. So the thing is, it will not go as easy or as you plan. Like, you know, it will never go the way you planned. So just be prepared for anything that might come in the way and, just get on with it.
That's a very motivating story, except for the movie part.
What are you gonna do for 3 hours? Ouch.
Yeah. So see, hard things will come, hardship will come in your life, and it's not gonna be easy at all. If you think that very easily you'll study, no problem will come, and you'll like you will clear your exam without any difficulties. Not the case. Hardship will come. You will be the real uh, champion only if you come out of all those hardships and you clear your examination even after facing a lot of hurdles, and you study even after all the problems. So important thing is give time to your studies and love what you study. So basically what I want to ask you, one
Still a lot of questions.
no, your questions are done. One question, like since you scored such a great marks rank, what are your future plans? What are your future plans? How you are planning to approach after your articleship? How you're planning to approach your articleship? And what you want to do in your future? What are your career goals?
I'm planning to get into law school as of now because one, I want to study law because I mean studying CS did provoke my interest into studying law, so I want to study law. This is something in the back of my head. And as of now, if I get into law college, which I am trying, I'm applying for an LSIU, which is a hard place to get into. So if I do get in, I'll probably put a hold on articleship. I mean, it's not given, so I'll probably take one module at a time for CS professionals. So nothing's decided. It all depends on how I write my NLSAT entrance exam. So apart, yeah, I want to do law, then I'll finish my CS professional, then we'll see. I haven't planned anything beyond that, to be honest, and we'll see. And yeah,
Okay. So it's good to do law. Are you planning to go for job, employment?
while I'm studying law.
No, after you are done with your law.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, when you go for employment, when you go for job, CS plus LLB is a very good combination because mostly the big companies, the listed companies, or even Big Fours hire CS. So Big Fours or any listed company or a big company, they prefer if a CS will come for interview or a CS plus LLB will come, they prefer CS plus LLB. So these are complementary courses. So I really like this one thing that he developed the interest in law while doing the CS course. So it might be possible that you entered CS course without having knowledge about CS course, but you can develop interest gradually through the process.
Can I say something?
Through the process, and yeah, if you have developed interest in law, you can go for CS plus LLB. If you have interest in finance or accounts or any other field, you have professional courses for those also. So the one thing which I understood is don't stop with just one degree. Chase this degree, complete it, clear your examination, and along with this, also you can go for other professional courses, other degrees, which will add up to your personality and which will add up to your resume when you will go for job or interview. Yes.
I mean, yeah, what ma'am told is right. In PU, I was a science student, so I didn't really know anything about commerce or anything. I got into it because I didn't want to disappoint my parents, obviously, because you're just gonna do BCom. No, I'm gonna do something else along with it. So I got into CS because my cousin brother suggested it. Why don't you try it? And then that developed my interest in law. I never thought like I would be anybody who would be studying a lawyer. And yeah, your interests change and you can actually develop your passion. So passion is an overrated thing. All you have to do is find something you like and then focus on it. Then you'll get good at it. So yeah, you don't have to think, I don't like this subject, so I'm not cut out for law. Probably you're wrong. So just if you have a tiny bit of interest, just you'll get on with it. So you don't have to worry that much. So even like your interest develops as much as your hard work. So the harder you work at it, the more interested you become because you know a lot of things and then you get curious about what other things are out there. So you broaden your spectrum of what you know. So that's how you probably develop interest. I mean, it takes a long time for somebody to be good at a particular profession. So it takes a lot of work, a lot of books, a lot of hours. So you need to be patient and keep with it.
It's a very good thing that whatever you're doing, develop interest in that. You would do automatically, you will do good in that field if you are having interest in that, right? So I got a really good insights from the interview of all the students, and we got to know a lot of things. What should be your approach for examination? What should be your approach for studies, for classes, for material, and uh, yeah, what you would say for Yashas?
It's really fun to be here, to be honest. That's what I'll say. I mean, the teachers are really nice. I remember every teacher and a lot of things that the teacher used to talk about in the free time and during the classes. I had wonderful friends. I can't emphasize how big of a influence they had on me because it's important to have fun when you come to a place and you spend 6.5 hours of your day. So make sure you have good friends that you can talk about stupid things. It doesn't matter. But make sure you have good friends to joke about and make sure you talk to your teachers, get to know them because the more you get to know them, the more you're interested in what they say. So then you'll automatically learn. And when it comes to tax laws, which was Swapnil Jadhav sir. I still remember he used to extend classes, but he did his job really well. I mean, he carved every provisions into your head, and that was fun. And yeah, just ASS is I mean, it's just peaceful to be here. In all
It's an
honesty,
option.
yeah, it's fun. It was fun. I wanted to come to classes every day. I mean, I couldn't take online classes. That's why I chose to come to a class, and I couldn't have asked for a better place to study. And they would allow me to study after classes. So some days I used to get lunch, and then I used to come back into the class where people would be studying on their own. I would sit in the corner and then just study whatever I had to study. So it's a fun place.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you so, so, so much, Puneet, for coming here, for giving your time. We all are really proud of you. You have made Yashas proud. You have made all of us very proud. And this All India rank have put more responsibility on your shoulders to do something great with your life. If you reached this height, if you reach this height, work harder for your career, for the law which you want to pursue, for your career, and do something good out of it. And I really uh, give you my best wishes for your future. I really hope you do very well, in including all the students who have cleared, all the students who couldn't clear. Know that Yashas is always there for you. All the teachers are always there for you. If you need any kind of guidance, we are always there. Just keep on working. And those students who are going to appear in June, know that you can do it. You can do it. Just keep on going. You have all of our back support. Yes. So, all the best wishes to all of you. Thank you so much for your time. And before ending the session, I would like to give a big thanks to Yashas and Nilesh sir for organizing this program so that for you all can get benefit out of it, and for appreciating and giving prizes and awards to all the students. Without his support, it couldn't be possible. And a big round of applause for Nilesh sir for his invaluable support to all the students and all the teachers. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you, Puneet, for coming.